Okay, hi guys, and welcome again to your tutorial 3 in the C Sharp Series 1 for Unity 3D. And this is basically an empty scene with a script called GUI tutorials, which I used for the last tutorial. I'm just going to use the same one. And I've got a GUI skin, which is basically nothing. So I'm just going to delete it. And I've got a scene basically. You don't need to create a scene. It's basically your level, but I just created that anyway. So I dragged my GUI tutorials in here last time, and since last time I deleted everything inside my GUI um, tutorial script, and besides the class and the headers. So right now I want to go over some stuff with you guys. So private void start, I'm going to create a new start, and if you remember from the first tutorial, start is repeated as soon as the script starts, or run, not repeated, because it's not repeated again. So that we can create something called for loop, which basically loops as many times as you tell it. So we need to create an int x equals to 0, and then we can make x um, is smaller than 5 and x plus plus. So basically what this is going to do is going to make a variable called x and make it equal to 0. It's going to add 1 to x every single time. It's like it goes from there to this bracket, because it's going to run whatever's inside this bracket until x is equal to 5 or bigger than 5. In other words, whenever x is smaller than 5, it's going to run whatever's inside these brackets, and whenever it gets here, it's going to add 1 to the x. And it starts off with the x equal to 0. If you don't understand that, leave it in the comments. I will try to explain as best as I can, but you can watch the video over and over again if that helps you. So there's also something called while loop. This is basically something in here has to be true. So we can write if that s equals to s, then it's going to repeat that. Okay, it's going to keep repeating it, and it's not going to stop since this is never going to be false. Okay, so what we can do in here, to if you want to, this is optional by the way, you can do break. This, what break does is it immediately says, okay, while loop, it doesn't matter if this is true or not, just make it false. So it thinks, oh, okay, it's false, so it just breaks the whole while loop and goes on to the next thing. So you can do this with here as well, but if you want it, for example, you got print hi, print hello. So let me just do this. Okay, now for example, if you got print hello and print hi, they're both gonna repeat 5 times. For example, let's just say for some reason you want it so whenever it goes here, it doesn't print hi, but it just goes back to the start again. For some reason, I really don't know. Okay, you can do continue, if I can spell it right. Continue. There we go. That's it. But as you can see, it says unreachable code, because every single time it's gonna get here, it's going to go back. Can it go back? Can it go back? Can it go back? See, it's never gonna repeat that. That's why that's there. You can also do break, which is basically gonna break the whole for loop. It's not going to repeat ever again. It's just going to go. What's next? It's just going to go to the next bit after the for loop. So that's with the for and the while loop. And in the last tutorial, I showed you if statements, which is basically a statement, and something has to be true inside it for them to run. So s equals to s, or you can do if s is not equal to r, or I think this is not equal to as well. Okay, yeah, in some languages this is not equal to as well. So, or what else you can do? I don't know. If 6 plus plus equals to 7, there you go, you can do that. Or put some brackets around it. 6 plus 1 equals to 11, there you go. Equals to, sorry. Expected, what the hell? Oh, okay, that's why. I forgot one of the brackets. I was like, what? Anyways, there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so if that equals to that, and obviously it equals to that, so it's gonna run whatever is inside it. Sorry. Okay, now let's get back to the tutorial. Today is our first tutorial where we will use a additional header that's not in whenever you create a template for your script. So what header are we going to use? We're going to be using system.io, which stands for input output. And why are we going to be using this? Because this is going to allow us to create and delete files and load data from files, because we're going to be creating a text editor in Unity 3D OS, and you can use the same thing to save files and load data for your game. For example, if the user wants to save where he is, like current progress at this level, he can do that. So let's see. First, we're going to create a private void on GUI function. In the first tutorial, I showed you what private and public is, and in the GUI on GUI, I told you in the second tutorial. I'm not so sure about that, so I'll go over on GUI again. It basically repeats 2 times in a frame, and a frame is basically depending on your computer speed and the game, how much the game uses your computer's resources. It is basically it depends on how good the game is running. It's from 20 frames, it can be 20 to 60 or even higher or lower. It really depends on other stuff. So yeah, it repeats 20 or 60 times in a second. Anyways, so let's just say this is going to run about, I don't know, 60 times. No, wait, in fact, I just say 70 or 80 times. Okay, this is going to repeat 70 or 80 times in a second. And why do you want to repeat this 70 or 80 times in a second? Because to our eyes, whenever we hover over a button, we want to see the difference. There's no point if it changes after like 10 seconds. That's gonna be stupid. Come on. So first of all, we're going to create a window. So let's create a window rect, and I'm going to show you what a rect variable is today. So rect is basically has got 4 numbers inside it, or floats, or whatever you want to call it. So first of all, let's call this window rect equals to new rect. And what are those 4 numbers? The first number is its X position in the screen. Remember, a rect is always a 2D object, okay? Always 2D. So, let's say it's 20, 20. This is the X position, this is the Y position, and you need to make it so it's 400 by 400. It's width and its height. So X, Y, width, height. These are 2 positions, these are 2 sizes. So window rect equals to new it's supposed to be GUI.window. Sorry about that. And we need to give this window an ID. Let's give it an ID of 0. Remember, every single window has a unique ID. If it's not unique, then it's going to give us an error. So window rect again. So sorry, not GUI, window func, comma. Okay, there we go. It's giving us an error right now, but that's going to be fixed soon. So window rect, now I'm going to tell you why I made it window rect equal to. So basically, if you want to move around the window, we want window rect equal to that. So whenever we move it around, it assigns the window rect to its new position. So, and window function is basically a function we're going to create, which we haven't created yet, which is basically going to contain everything that's inside the window. So, and this is the title of the window, or the top bit. So let's call this text editor. So let's create this window function, private void window function, and it's going to give us an error, as you can see, because this is where we use parameters. And basically a parameter is you can pass values through a function. So int id, I'll show you what I mean right now, in fact. So let's ignore all of this for now and create a new void start, and it's going to go to this new func, and new func needs this int x, okay, and it's going to print this x. Okay, now let me explain this. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dealing with these two functions. So we created a new func that requires a value to be passed. So for example, if I type in new func, and it should give me a, as you can see, if you can read this, it says you need to enter an integer here, because this is an integer and it is asking for an integer. So we can enter in 5. So what it's going to do is it's going to replace the x with a 5, and it's going to print 5 here. Simple as that, kind of like variables. So string, we can also make a string, call it hi, and comma blah. So it's going to replace the hi with the blah, but it's not going to do anything with it. So that's basically it. So we need to pass down this Windows ID. So that's why we got an int ID inside it. So the next part is what we're going to be having inside the window. Before we actually get to it, I'm just going to leave some space, and at the end you're supposed to, or inside it, anywhere inside it, you're just supposed to write GUI.drag window, so it knows the window is draggable, and new rect. We're going to play, remember, GUI is the class, drag window is the function, and this is the parameter inside it. See, now we're understanding everything, as you can see. Once you get the hang of it, you'll understand everything. So same with here, GUI is the class, window is the function, and all of these are the parameters. So, and by the way, later on I will actually show you how to return a value in parameters. I'll leave that for later on, but now let's get to this. So remember, rect always has 4 things inside it. So and these 4 things are the top left position it can go, the most top left position, and then the most top the most bottom right position it can go to. So screen dot width, screen dot height. So our box should be draggable to the top, very top left of the screen, to the very bottom right of the screen. So let's place some things inside it now. I'm going to go to the GUI class, in fact the GUI layout dot call a text area, and we're going to put a string. Let's create a string variable first. So string text equals to nothing basically. Copy that, put it there, and make all of that equal to that so we can actually edit it. So public, if this is not equal to it, then that means we can't edit it. Basic as that. So now we can also change the height by going comma GUI layout dot layout dot width, and let's set it to 380, and we can also set the GUI layout dot height, and let's set it to I don't know, let's see, 300. Okay, let me explain this. It goes into the GUI layout class, gets the text area function, calls it, puts the first parameter is a string text inside it, and the second parameter, for the second parameter here it gets complicated, and let's see if you can follow this. It goes to another GUI layout class, the same one, goes to the width function and then gets the width, and then tells the GUI layout dot text area that that's the width, and then same with the height. Now let's create a text, in fact let's create some buttons. So now we're going to be using another function called GUI layout in the GUI layout class called begin horizontal. Now this basically what this does is wait, no, let me end it first. You need to end it as well, just saying. Oops, not end area, end horizontal, if you can find it. There we go. So what basically this does is let me think. In GUI layout, the default is going downwards, okay? So if we create something and then we create another thing, it always goes below that. But if we create it inside these, what it's going to do is it's going to create something and then create to the right of it, and then create another thing on the right of it. So that's basically it. So let's create a button. If, remember, whatever, if the button is pressed, it goes, whatever's in the if happens. GUI layout dot button, let's see, save, and let's create another button called if. Oops, I like to organize everything. Layout dot button read. Okay, now as you can see, we created two buttons called read and save. Let's just save this whole thing and check out what happens when we run it. So as you can see, it looks quite good. We've got a text editor where we can type anything, and we can, if we press save, nothing happens because we didn't put anything in the button in the if thing, if statement, and nothing happens if you press read as well. Okay, now what we're going to do is after the end horizontal, we're going to type something else in. We're going to create a new text field instead of text area. So create a new string, public. It doesn't have to be public, so we can make these private if we want it private. We can also make the rect private if you want to. Private. There we go. Name equals to, so copy name, and I'm going to go because I can't be bothered typing again. Paste name equals to GUI layout dot text field name. There we go. And that is basically it. Now if we try to run it, it's going to display another text field, and that's it. So let's run it. Sorry, I've got a sore throat, and if I'm coughing too much, So there we go. Now let's unpause it or exit out the play mode and come back here. Now let's what we can do, we can type code here, or we can create a new function and organize things nicely. Sorry if I'm not including comments. You can include comments like this. This is a comment. Comments are basically to let the programmer know what's happening in here. So let's create a function, call this private. In fact, let's just make it void, not making things too complicated. And let's call this save. Okay, it's going to have a parameter string and file name. So to save a file, what we do is text reader read. Oops, it's writer. So writer write equals to new stream writer and file name. Oops, file name. There we go. Write dot close. Now I'll tell you what happens. Here it opens the file name, and we can basically choose what we want to do with the file by using this. And this is an object, by the way. And here we close the file. So after we used it, we want to close it. Like if I've got this program open, no one else can properly edit GUI tutorials. They probably can, but kind of like that. So if I've got this file open, so that's why we close it, so other things can use it later on, because if I never close it, then no one else will be able to use it. So let's write dot write line, oops, write dot write, let's just make a write, in fact, and what text we call it, text. Okay, let me just tell you what happens. So we call the text, we call the object write, and we call the function write in it. Kind of confusing. I should have picked a better name. So we call this file and tell it we're gonna write something to it, and tell it we're gonna write some whatever's inside the text into it. So yeah, that's basically it. Whatever's inside the text is going to be written to this file name. And remember, it's going to get the file name from this parameter. So it depends on what the function gets. So let's save and name. And remember, here we change the name, and if we scroll above, and here is the text area where we added the text called text. So let's create a new, in fact, let's, for read, we can just, let's just have right here. So to read a file, what we do is text reader read equals to new stream reader. Kind of simple if you think about it. Stream writer, stream reader, text writer, text reader, not that complicated. So name, and it's going to close the read dot close, and it's going to read the all of it, so read to end, and put whatever's and that's it. It doesn't get any parameters. So, and whatever's it going to read, we want to make it equal to the text. So that's it. Let's save this, minimize it. All this code I'm going to be uploading because this is actually code you might want to look at. So we can, let's, hi, this is a simple test. Oops, test. So save it as simple.txt. Save, and I'm going to do that. Now read the simple, and as you can see, it showed up. Quite awesome, isn't it? So if I go to my Explorer, go to the file wherever it's located, if I can find it, tutorials, and simple.txt. As you can see, it actually works. I'm not joking, it does actually work. Open it with Notepad++. There you go. Okay. Notepad isn't that good, trust me. So it actually does work. This is how you read to files and write to files. Hopefully that helped you a lot. And for some reason I couldn't move it. Okay, I can move it. Never mind. It was just a simple bug. Anyways, yeah. So this is basically it. You can write the file name here. You can save random crap to the file. So yeah, see ya next time, and hopefully I'm looking forward to making the next tutorial.